This review will cover adjectives and adjective rules. From Unit 1, Lesson 4A on adjective agreement. Just like articles, adjectives must agree with nouns in gender and number. El edificio is masculine, so an adjective that describes it will also be masculine. El edificio alto. Los edificios altos. La camisa is feminine, so an adjective that describes la camisa will also be feminine. La camisa blanca. Las camisas blancas. Most adjectives end in o in their masculine singular form and a in their feminine singular form. In their plural forms, most adjectives will add an s afterwards. El brazo flaco, los brazos flacos. La pierna flaca, las piernas flacas. Adjectives that end in e or ista will have the same form in the masculine and feminine singular, but they will still add an s in their plural forms. El libro interesante, los libros interesantes. La silla interesante, las sillas interesantes. So interesante does not change according to gender, but it does change according to number. El hombre pesimista, los hombres pesimistas. La mujer pesimista, las mujeres pesimistas. So pesimista also does not change according to gender, but it does change according to number. Most adjectives that end in a consonant have the same masculine and feminine singular forms. They add an es in their plural forms. There are exceptions, and we will look at them next. El hombre joven, los hombres jóvenes. La mujer joven, las mujeres jóvenes. El libro difícil, los libros difíciles. La prueba difícil, las pruebas difíciles. So joven and difícil do not change according to gender, but they do change according to number and add an es in the plural form. For adjectives that end in a z, they will change the z to a c before adding an es in their plural forms. We do the same thing with nouns that end in z when forming their plural as well. El hijo feliz, los hijos felices. La hija feliz, las hijas felices. Now, while most adjectives that end in a consonant have one form for the masculine and feminine singular, these adjectives are an exception, those that end in or, on, and in. They will add an a in their feminine singular form, an es in their masculine plural form, and an as in their feminine plural form. El médico trabajador, los médicos trabajadores. La enfermera trabajadora, las enfermeras trabajadoras. El hombre cabezón, los hombres cabezones. La mujer cabezona, las mujeres cabezonas. Now for those adjectives that end in erior, they will not have a separate feminine form. El cuarto exterior, los cuartos exteriores. La puerta exterior, las puertas exteriores. And this chart summarizes the rules for adjective, gender, and number agreement. Unit 1, Lesson 4B on possessive adjectives. Spanish has short and long form possessive adjectives. Short form possessive adjectives are more commonly used when expressing possession. They agree with the gender and number of the noun being owned. However, only the nuestro, nuestra, and vuestro, vuestra forms have separate masculine and feminine forms, so it's not that difficult to remember. Mi, mis, tú, tus, su, sus, nuestro, nuestra, nuestros, nuestras, vuestro, vuestra, vuestros, vuestras, su, sus. They are placed before the nouns they describe and are not used with articles. Mi casa es blanca, mis casas son blancas. Tu libro es negro, tus libros son negros. Su silla es pequeña, sus sillas son pequeñas. Nuestro teléfono es roto, nuestros teléfonos son rotos. Nuestra almohada es roja, nuestras almohadas son rojas. Remember that nuestro and vuestro do change according to gender, unlike the other short form possessive adjectives. And because su and sus can take on a variety of meanings, sometimes it may be better if you refer to possession using a pronoun or name to be more clear. For example, Madrid es la capital de España is more clear than saying su capital es Madrid. And saying el libro de él es en el dormitorio, it is more clear than saying su libro es en el dormitorio. Long-form possessive adjectives are identical to possessive pronouns. Mío, mía, míos, mías. Tuyo, tuya, tuyos, tuyas. Suyo, suya, suyos, suyas. Nuestro, nuestra, nuestros, nuestras. Vuestro, vuestra, vuestros, vuestras. Suyo, suya, suyos, suyas. Just like possessive pronouns, the long-form possessive adjectives must agree with gender and number of the noun being owned, and they are placed after the noun they describe. Keep in mind that any of the third-person possessive adjectives can refer to his, hers, yours, or theirs. Generally, we use them to emphasize the owner of something, to contrast one owner with another, or to emphasize a personal relationship. Ay, Dios mío. Necesito estas sillas tuyas. And you may use articles with long-form possessive adjectives before the noun being described. Estoy buscando los libros tuyos. Estas son tus almohadas y estas son las almohadas nuestras. Unit 1, Lesson 4C on Demonstrative Adjectives. Demonstrative adjectives are identical to demonstrative pronouns. As usual, they must agree with gender and number of the nouns they describe. The first set is este. Este, esta, estos, estas. The second set is ese. Ese, esa, esos, esas. The third set is aquel. Aquel, aquella, aquellos, aquellas. Este is used to describe a noun that is physically near the speaker. Ese describes a noun that is further away from the speaker, but it may be close to the one being spoken to. And aquel describes a noun that is far from both the speaker and the one being spoken to. Usually, demonstrative adjectives are placed right before the nouns they describe. Yo quiero el libro, yo quiero este libro. Las herramientas son para ti, estas herramientas son para ti. Los hombres son los expertos. Aquellos hombres son los expertos. Unit 1, Lesson 4D on Relative Adjectives. The relative adjective cuyo also agrees with the gender and number of the noun being described. Cuyo, cuya, cuyos, cuyas. And relative adjectives are placed before the nouns they describe. Paulo, cuyo coche no funciona, está aquí. Su amiga, cuya hija es enfermera, trabaja aquí. Las mujeres, cuyos perros son blancos, caminan cada día. Los niños, cuyas camisas son negras, hablan español. And Unit 1, Lesson 4E on Adjective Placement. Adjectives are usually placed after the noun in Spanish, but there are plenty of exceptions. We know that possessive, demonstrative, and relative adjectives precede the nouns they describe. Mi hijo es inteligente. Esta mujer es inteligente. Mi amigo, cuya casa es grande, es inteligente. Limiting adjectives describe numbers or amounts, and they also precede the nouns they describe. Tenemos que comprar muchos libros. Soy más inteligente que tú. Estudiamos para 3 clases. This is a list of common limiting adjectives, and remember that numbers are also limiting adjectives. Descriptive adjectives emphasize essential qualities of a noun, and they will come before the noun when describing it. You could think of an essential quality as something that gives an extra emphasis to what should be obvious about the noun. In a way, it adds a poetic quality. El valiente guerrero defiende su gente. Even in these situations, it would not be grammatically incorrect to have these types of adjectives come after a noun, such as el guerrero valiente. There are several adjectives that have a different meaning depending on whether you place them before or after a noun. A common example is the difference between viejo amigo and amigo viejo. Tu viejo amigo está aquí. Viejo precedes amigo, so it refers to a person that the subject has had a long-time friendship with. It does not necessarily mean that the friend himself is an old man. Tu amigo viejo ha fallecido. So this time viejo comes after amigo. Therefore, this means that the friend is literally an old or elderly man in terms of age. The adjectives bueno, malo, and grande are shortened to buen, mal, and gran when preceding a noun. Un hombre bueno, un buen hombre. Un hombre malo, un mal hombre. Un hombre grande, un gran hombre. So, there you have it. We have summed up the rules and basics of adjectives in Spanish. As I always say, if you could please do me a favor and share this video series with your friends and teachers, I would very much appreciate that. And that is all for now, so until next time.